All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're getting completely hands-on to master cloud automation. If you have ever felt totally overwhelmed by managing servers or just frustrated by doing the exact same tasks over and over again, well, you're in the exact right place. So, let me ask you something. Are you still spending hours manually clicking your way through endless cloud console menus? You know the drill. Going to the dashboard, clicking launch, painstakingly filling out 50 different details for an instance. It's just exhausting, right? Plus, it's super prone to human error, and frankly, it is definitely not the best use of your time. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover the manual problem versus infrastructure as code, run through Terraform basics, learn the four-step magic workflow, look at a real-world AWS EC2 example, check out the top benefits, and finally, wrap up with advanced features and state. Starting with Section 1, the manual problem versus IAC and how to automate your cloud. Traditionally, you log into that manual AWS console, click around the dashboards, type in all your settings, and really just hope you didn't miss a critical checkbox somewhere. But with infrastructure as code, or IAC, instead of all that clicking, you just write simple, clean configuration files to build and manage your resources. It's elegant, it's fully trackable, and it completely eliminates all that tedious manual grunt work. Moving on to Section 2, Terraform Basics. Let's meet your tool. Say hello to Terraform. It's an open-source infrastructure as code tool built by HashiCorp. And what makes Terraform an absolute game-changer is that it's a multi-cloud solution. So whether you're building on AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, Terraform supports the whole shebang. You don't have to learn a completely different tool for every single cloud provider. It essentially acts as your unified one-stop shop for any multi-cloud environment. Now, to actually talk to Terraform, we use HCL, which stands for HashiCorp Configuration Language. You'll usually see these saved as .tf or .tf.json files. The absolutely crucial concept to grasp here is that HCL is declarative. Think of it like looking at a restaurant menu. When you sit down, you don't march into the kitchen and give the chef a step-by-step tutorial on how to chop onions or grill a patty, right? You just declare what you want. You order the burger. That is exactly how HCL works. You just state your desired end result, like a specific AWS instance, and Terraform acts as your master chef, handling all the complicated how-to steps behind the scenes. All right, Section 3, the four-step magic, the Terraform workflow. There's this really beautiful, predictable rhythm to working with Terraform, and it all boils down to four basic commands. Step 1 is Terraform init. This initializes your project and grabs all the necessary plugins. Step 2 is Terraform plan. Now this one is brilliant. It gives you a totally safe preview of exactly what changes will happen before anything actually goes live. Step 3 is Terraform apply. This is where you give the final thumbs up and Terraform actually goes out and builds your infrastructure. And finally, Step 4, Terraform destroy. When your testing is over, one quick command gracefully tears the whole thing down. Init, plan, apply, destroy. It really is that simple. Let's hit Section 4, AWS EC2 real-world example, seeing it in action. Let's picture a mini story to see how this actually plays out based on our source material. Imagine you've written out a really simple config file. You run Terraform apply, type yes to approve it, and almost like magic, you log into your AWS dashboard, hit refresh, and boom, there it is, a brand new EC2 instance named My Server, up and running perfectly. Literally zero manual clicking required. But, infrastructure changes all the time, right? What if you suddenly need to rename that server? In the old manual world, you'd be hunting through endless submenus, trying to find that one specific tag setting. But with Terraform, you just open up your code, change the tag from My Server to My Web Server, save it, and run Terraform apply again. Terraform instantly figures out what changed and updates the tag on the live server. Fast, clean, and incredibly efficient. Okay, so let's say your testing phase is officially complete. The last thing you want is to leave a bunch of unused resources running and accidentally rack up a massive monthly cloud bill. No thanks. So you just run Terraform destroy, type yes, and just like that, the instance is completely and securely deleted from AWS. It's a perfectly clean lifecycle from start to finish. Which brings us to Section 5, the top benefits. Why actually use Terraform? First up is consistency. Because your entire infrastructure is literally code, you can deploy the exact same setup 50 times, and it's going to be identical every single time. Second is automation. Since everything runs on commands, you can easily tie it right into your existing scripts. Third, and this is a huge one, cost saving. You can automate your scripts to spin up those super expensive resources for just the 5 hours a day you actually need them and auto-destroy them right after. And lastly, it's repeatable. You can replicate a perfectly working test setup straight into production without missing a single beat. Section 6. Advanced features and state. Meet Terraform's brain. So you might be wondering, how exactly did Terraform know what to modify when we changed that server tag earlier? Well, it knows because of a file called terraform.tf state. This state file is literally Terraform's brain. It locally or remotely tracks every single piece of information about the resources you currently have deployed. It's constantly comparing your code to this state file to figure out precisely what needs to be created, what needs an update, or what needs to be deleted. And the great thing is, as your projects start to get bigger, Terraform scales right alongside you. It handles dynamic processing like a champ. Say you need to create 10 user accounts on AWS. You are definitely not writing the same code 10 times. You just use simple loops and variables. It also gives you modules, so you can package up your code into reusable templates. Plus, it has workspaces, which gives you a super clean way to totally isolate your development, testing, and production environments, all while running on the exact same core configurations. And if you want to level things up even further, there's Terraform Cloud. This is HashiCorp's managed service. So instead of running everything locally on your own laptop, you can sync your whole Terraform setup directly into GitHub. That gives you automated remote state management, role-based access control, and seamless collaboration for your entire team. It basically takes everything we've talked about and makes it totally enterprise-ready. We have definitely covered a ton of ground here, but honestly, this is just scratching the surface of what you can build. The source material for this explainer highlights some really incredible resources if you want to go deeper. To truly master this tool, the creator highly recommends checking out their comprehensive 9-hour course or jumping into their 42-video playlist for some highly practical step-by-step learning. It's really the perfect next step for your automation journey. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important thought. You've seen the sheer pain of the manual problem. You've seen the elegant 4-step solution, and you now understand the immense power of infrastructure as code. So, are you ready to finally stop clicking, start automating, and code your cloud? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy building.